How are you guys doing? So MGS Delta's footage just keeps on emerging, and from what we've seen so far it does look incredible. But with all this footage so far, there is some leaked footage from a fan who's been playing at the Tokyo Game Show. He's actually a YouTuber known as Panda, who I believe is actually from Japan and is a Metal Gear Solid enthusiast. As we can see here, he's tested the gameplay to its limits. Some of the footage actually showcases some of the combats in the remake, and all from these official sources. I will leave the link down below. But unfortunately there was no sound with the video, so I thought why not do a narration of everything that it has to present. Start of the video, Panda tosses a grenade, and right away we get to see the physics of the blast in action. It's wild because the explosion doesn't just feel cinematic, it's kind of got like a weird weight to it. You see Snake get blasted back, flying through the air, and it immediately reminds me of the physics in Metal Gear Solid 5, but just better. Even the enemy AI reactions are on point. As soon as they see the blast, they panic and scramble for cover. It's pure chaos, and it makes the action feel that much more real. There's even this section on the bridge that blew my mind. You guys know that spot where you can shoot the ropes and make the bridge unsteady? Well, in the remake, when enemies are crossing and you shoot the bridge, it sends them flying right off the edge, all the way down to the bottom of the cliff. I don't remember that being a thing in the original, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. We even get a close-up shot of an enemy soldier actually shooting Snake, and we can see the blood splatter physics go everywhere. It looks insane, the way the KGB AI reacts to the environment when we disrupt it, when the bridge catapults them straight off. I mean, look at those ragdoll physics, they are full on in display. It's such a good sign for how everything connects together, both the physics and the mechanics, and the character's AI. Even just the little minor details that play a big part in the experience, like this soldier just trying to keep his balance. Up next in the footage, we're in Razvet, and once again Konami has clearly taken a lot of inspiration from 5. Now when sneaking around you'll notice a warning marker pops up on the screen. When an enemy spots you, or thinks if they're not sure, it stays white, but when they're certain they've seen you or are in caution it turns red. This is incredible because it shows that Konami hasn't just made the game look good, there are some smart functions at play here. And to really appreciate the details you've got to slow the footage down. I've heard some people criticising the shooting, but honestly it looks great in first person. Keep in mind it's the Mark 22 and not the M9, it's naturally going to feel clunkier. We're using weapons just after World War II here, so that old school feel is a part of the experience.
It's been modified to act as a tranquilizer gun. The Mark 22 is a heavily modified special ops version of the M39 pistol used as a sidearm by the SEALs. Probably the biggest change from the M39 is that it's got a longer barrel, which allows it to be equipped with a suppressor. And it uses a slide lock mechanism. That makes it a lot quieter, but it also means you have to load a new round into the chamber by hand every time you fire.
All you need to do is just simply cock and lock.
So I can just cock and lock.
Further into the footage, and Panda climbs up onto the roof and tests out the binoculars. When looking around you can really see the attention to detail in absolutely everything, even to the most mundane thing as a brick. It's clear that a lot of care has gone into making the environment feel alive. Now the remake was first reported to be in development back in October 2021. So in the space of about 3 years it seems to be functioning well, but we don't really know yet if there's still a few bugs hiding under the surface, but it's looking solid. But there's always the possibility of some issues before the final release, so fingers crossed it comes out smooth as butter. And as tasty as a calorie mate. Watching this footage felt good because you can really tell that Panda has played this game before. He knows all those little neat tricks that a lot of the veterans from the PS2 era remember. Like spinning Snake right round like a record baby right round, long enough in the survival menu to make him vomit. It's classic, and yes, you've guessed it, it's all that jungly gunge, but in better resolution. You can really see the pieces of frog in the puke. It's those little details that add the charm and humour to the game, making it feel nostalgic whilst fresh. And let's not forget about smoking. It really does kill Snake's life gauge as it dissipates when he's puffing on those fat blunts. It's a typical feature in MGS, but it serves some practical purposes too, like burning off leeches on your skin or repelling hornets when you want some honey. It's these quirky mechanics that keep the gameplay interesting and true to the series' roots. Upon closer look there are 2 guards knocked out, and it seems like there's a function where we can loot these knocked out enemies without having to pick them up and drop them. Instead it looks similar to the loot system in MGS4 where you press a button and quickly get the gear off the enemies even when they're knocked out, and I'm pretty sure Peace Walker included this mechanic as well. We get another glimpse of the Gakko, still unclear what it will unlock for us, but I'm guessing maybe the Gakko outfit. Then we see the thermal goggles in action, and they look a bit different from before, but they still do their job of detecting heat sources and enemy threats. They're an ultra reliable tool for getting the drop on the enemies and just navigating through tricky environments. Yep, it's all there, including the fake death pill and the revival pill. These items play a huge part in the game and are great for faking your own death. They add that other layer to the strategy that you can do, letting you outsmart enemies and create opportunities, especially if you get yourself in an alert situation. All these are for stealthy maneuvers, of course. It's classic MGS 3 right here. There's even a new ability for MGS3 now to crawl on your back while moving backwards, and you can point your gun while doing it. Absolutely love that. It's a fantastic nod to its predecessors, MGS4 and MGS5. This added maneuverability opens up more tactical options for us. Now we get an in more depth look at the CQC system with several button prompts on the screen, likely for different questions we can ask this time rather than just one. This suggests that there might be a feature similar to 5, which incorporated adding more in-depth interactions during CQC encounters. While it's not fully showcased here, it hints at a more nuanced approach to combat character interaction.
Where are your fists?
The map has been updated.
The choke animation is different from before and really feels far more realistic, resembling a real rear naked choke. The original animation wasn't as refined, but it still holds up nicely. And let's talk about the slit throat function. Konami hasn't held back on the gore and brutality of the animations, something that some of the fans were actually concerned about, even given on Eva's animations as well, with the zipper and her boobs showing and all that. But you can really see the blood spill out of the jugular, making for a clean kill. It's that kind of attention to detail that makes the combat what MGS3 is about. And lastly, Supanda ends the video in the survival view with Big Boss covered in mud, smoking a cigar. Man, I really wish I could have been at Tokyo Game Show to experience all of this firsthand. Maybe next time, eh? I do wonder how long they got to play the demos for. Well, with all that being said, there isn't really much more to talk about. It's looking great in my opinion, but I'm interested to know what you guys think as well. I mean, whilst my opinions might not suit your taste, it doesn't matter because that's the beauty of all having a different perspective. I'm the Voice Box, and I'll speak to you soon, guys.